Hey everybody, it is Friday, February 17th, and we are going to go over the futures markets. So starting off with S&P 500 today, it was a lot more of a wild day than I was expecting, because yesterday when I made the video, price was right about what time was it? About 11, 12 ish, right around here. And so I was not expecting that deep sell-off to complete the day and continue, and therefore continue into today. I thought I was going to sputter out right around here, and then we have the inside day for today based upon yesterday's actions. But so what we'll do is go over the trade I was looking at yesterday, which actually ended up getting in. And so going over here to the 1 minute chart, it was based upon the Andrew Pitchfork's trade right here. Use the semaphores right there. You got a green, green, yellow. There's yellow one right in there that was messed up, so I just ignored that one. So once you get the Andrew's Pitchfork set up with the semaphores, price broke out. Once it breaks the low, then we're in business right there. And so then all we do is we just draw the Fibonacci retracement level, looking for it to go back to the 38%. As you can see, it came close about right here, but I decided it didn't hit it, so it wasn't close enough. And then just keep on dragging that back down. The first entry that could have gotten in was the green. I usually don't get in at the green line right there because it seems like most of the time when this does happen, it goes down to the red line there on the Andrews Pitchfork, and all that is the 11.89 Fibonacci extension level that I use for the same lines for the Andrews Pitchforks. So once it hits that, that's when you can move the exit up to the 50% Fibonacci retracement level. And as you see, price just kept on going down, down, down. I'm going to switch over the 5-minute chart so it's a little bit easier to see. And so there was the end of yesterday right there, and then price just kept on going lower. So then right here, I'll just draw here was the extension lows from yesterday's, using the high from yesterday, low from yesterday. There's the 1.146 down to the 1.44. That's just the extension levels we're looking for. Usually when price hits that, it at least gives it a pause and there's some price mulling about, and a lot of times you'll see reversal off up there, and then not occasional, but sometimes, rarely, which happens probably the least amount of time, price will just blow through it, and there really won't be any resistance, and we'll just get a complete blow through today. Now we did have that in the oil market today that we'll go over with, but it also was completing a longer term setup as well. So as you can see, price came down here and hit it, and it went all the way down to 1.414, and then when the market finally opened up right over here, it looked like it was going to break out even lower, but that was really just fake breakouts, and it used it as kind of a triple bottom right there before we've had price moving on back up. So what I did was I had my entry set right here, right on the 1.146. It got hit right there, and then I got out just right there, even though the exit is this black line right here, because that's the 50%. I'm going to take that off of there because we don't need that, and I'm actually going to take off that to have a little bit less on the screen. So you can see the extension levels going all the way down here, hit all the way down, even for the extension trade as well, to the 5.85, which for that trade, it also moves the exit to the 50%, because as you can see right here at the 3.618 extension level, that's where you could get in for the original entry, and the exit would be the 38%, but then when price keeps on going down, hits right there, that's when you change it to the 50% as well. So from this trade, there still is some room for it to go. Currently price is right there at 4084.25, and we're looking at for the to get completed still another 14 and a half points or so. So hopefully here, there's about 30 minutes left for really active trading time. We don't really get that, who don't pop up there, and I'd love to see it sell off some and then get back in probably on Tuesday, because Mondays the markets are going to be closed for President's Day. Another reason why I got in right there as well, see on the 15-minute MFI right here, down over there, it is completely oversold and had just been making divergences where the price had been going down in the market, but the MFI had been making higher lows, and this was making lower lows right here. So whenever there's divergence, eventually you're going to get a pop going back up. And that's finally eventually what did happen as well. Obviously, I wish I had gotten in closer down here, but I thought getting in at the 1.146 of the previous day's extension low area was a good point and good enough to get a little bit of profit in there and then get out for the weekend started here. So we will look at the 4-hour chart right here, see what's going on. So we are still, actually I'll leave that on there. So there is the trend channel up. When price comes down, if it does come down and hit the 38% line right there, then we will look for a trend channel, kind of like something like that. So it needs to go down a little bit lower for that to happen. But until it does, it is just kind of in a consolidation pattern right there and right there, going back and forth. So if price didn't hit the 38%, then what we are looking for is a second leg up, and for the target to at least be up here at 4268.25. That's the minimum level for looking what it's going to go up to, and then we'd start another trend line, another trend channel for it right there. But right now, since it's broken out, the trend channel hasn't hit the 30% yet. This is just in kind of a sideways action going forward for the market. MFI is getting closer, getting up to being in the overbought level over there, and then the 4-hour chart, when it does get in there, since it is the longer time frame, we would be looking for a sell-off to eventually happen in the broader S&P 500 market. Here is the Russell 2000. The Russell 2000, we are definitely see we got the trend channel going along right here. Price has broken out somewhat to the downside a little bit, so if we are going to see a pop up, I would expect it to go and exceed that trend channel line right there if we do get a run up to do it, because usually when it breaks out one way and if it does get a push up the other way, then it does overcompensate and go a little bit past the other way just to make up for what it did right there. But that's currently where we're at. Now this could be, I don't really have anywhere to put it, because using this low right here, it obviously has already hit the 38% line and stuff like that. So we're just going to leave it for now. This could just be a consolidation phase that is going into for it, as you can see right there. But let me take these things off so they're a little bit easier to see right there. Yeah, there we go. So that's what we're looking for. It could be in consolidation phase right here. It obviously has hit the 38% going back the other way, but I'm not, it's too early in my opinion to draw the trend channels going down kind of the other side right there for something like that. So we could just be in consolidation phase for a while for that one. Going to the 15-minute chart, there was, excuse me, I'll go back to the 5-minute chart. It kind of had a similar setup, but there really wasn't anything I was looking for here in the Russell 2000. Now what it did do today though was kind of like the S&P 500. It came down, well, excuse me, not like the S&P 500, but came down very close to hitting the 1.146. There you can see right there, that is the extension level, the extension low. Came down very close to hitting it, but instead of it going even lower, it barely got close to it and then just kind of rocketed right off from it to make up from a lot of the losses for a day. And actually it's green right now, so it's actually gotten slightly positive for today for it. So going into next week, we'll just have to see what happens. Going back to the 4-hour chart, it is getting closer to being in the overbought level, but we need a couple more up days for it to get up there. So that's the Russell 2000. Going into the Dow Jones, this one had a very similar setup to the S&P 500. As you can see, it went into the daily extension low channel, and again that used it as its support for the day. This is also the same trade as the S&P 500. Let me go over to the 1-minute chart, which it was off of. Could either use the Andrew Pitchforks trade. So let me put up this one on it, that one on it as well. You could have either used the Andrew's Pitchfork trade or the get it straighter on there, or you can use the Fibonacci kind of scalping trade for it. Either one would have worked. As you can see, that would have been the first entry to get in right there for the Fibonacci trade. That was the first entry potential for the Andrew's Pitchfork. Then when it hits the red Andrew Pitchfork, you move the exit to the 50%. And then when it did come out, I don't think it hit the 50% down here. Oh, it did come down there. It hit the 6.85 down there. Right there as well. From that setup, it goes to the 50% exit, And so let me see here. I'll just keep on drawing this down for this to be the retracement trade. So what I did was for this one, I got in a little bit earlier. Obviously, I'd wish that I'd wait at least to the 1.146, but I got greedy, the FOMO, fear of missing out, that when the market opened yesterday afternoon, that I was afraid yesterday evening, I was afraid it wasn't going to go down any lower, but obviously I should have held on to a little bit more to at least that mark. But it went down against me some. That came up, and on that candle right there, I think my exit right there, it got out right there, and let's see here, 65 ticks there for it. So a little bit of a gain. Could have been a whole lot better than that one. And then it finally went up there and hit the 50%, which is a black line to complete that setup right there. So that one is said and done for the Dow Jones. And then going into next week, it looks like there is a potential. Yeah, there is currently is in a potential setup for it. The price would have to continue moving up just for the first entry level, which could be 3.618. But the only way I would get in like that is if on the 15-minute MFI right here, if the price is in the overbought territory. Because that's another reason why I got in right here yesterday earlier. Now I remember why. Because, well, no, that still doesn't make any sense why I did. Yeah, because price had just started slightly touching down over here, the MFI, but obviously it went down way over here, and as you can see, price continued to move lower for a while until finally price took off, and we have the same type of thing. We have a divergence here. You see the MFI is making higher lows, but while price kept on making lower lows. So eventually that turned around. That's what I was looking for today, for that thing to turn around, and it did. So going into next week, we just have this potential set up here on the, yeah, you can use a 5-minute chart. On the 5-minute chart right here, but it's going to need to really take off before it hits retraces back to the 38% line for it to work out. For our chart, the Dow Jones has been in consolidation or in just a range right there. As you can see, it's bouncing off the low side, and if it continues on what it's been doing, then we can expect next week going up to the high side up here to around 34,284 here in the Dow Jones market. Now oil, finally oil here. I'll tell you what, we're going to go over just the 4-hour chart. MFI in the 4-hour chart, middle nowhere. It had been in a downward trend. It definitely see it broke out of that channel big time right there. So we could be looking at making a different type of trend channel for it. But the current one that it was in, you see it definitely broke out there to the low side. But if we get a big pop up going into next week, then look for the upper side to it, surpass the upper side of the trend channel right there. So you'd be looking at like in the 79s to the mid 79s there for crude oil for it. And then finally, this trade, which I'd been looking at since initiated back on Monday, February 6th, it finally did get completed today. You can see what it was. It was the, either one. It would have been either the Andrew Pitchfork trade or the Fibonacci trade. So either one would have worked just fine for it. You can see using that right there. That was the original entry. Then when it hit that, the exit moves to the 50%. And then for the Fibonacci side, it did go up and hit right off of the 3.618 level. That was definitely the upper limit of where this move was going to, and that just acted as resistance. And it took a couple more days for it to finally go on back down, but it eventually did so. I drew the box right there so it's easier to see. You see when it came down, it used the 30% as some support, and then finally today, we finally had that super big push. At one point it was over 3% today, or $3 today. Now it's come back up some, but it finally reached the black line down here, which is right here. Let me get rid of that real quick. which is right there. So finally reached that and completed that setup that I had been looking for at least over a week now. So that one is finally said and done. So there is a current setup that we are looking at right now, but it hasn't moved enough for it to work, and we need a lot more bigger push here down to the downside. And it's the Andrew Pitchfork trade using the red semaphores right there. First entry would be at the green line right there, and we just have to wait and see what the 15-minute MFI was looking at when it goes and hits the green line. If it's if it's hit in the oversold like it was earlier, then maybe might be looking to get in for it. But if not, then we definitely wouldn't get in there at that time for it. But still has a way to go, and to be honest, it looks like it's going to go up and hit that 30% here pretty soon. It's because the target's at 77.02. Price at 76.56, so it just needs a little bit more push up for that one to be done. But today was a day here that I will draw it on there that it does happen, but not too often, where it was a complete blowout of the daily extension targets, because here was the target area that we had drawn, or I had drawn from the day before. And the market opened and just started going lower. Took a little bounce off of it, went down into it, and you saw I got a little bit of support. Looked like it was going to push up, and then it ended up using it at the bottom part of it as resistance and just shot all the way back down it. So today was just a straight continuation blowout day from yesterday. So that's the way that the crude oil market looks right now. And so going into next week, if we get continuation here to the downside in crude oil, then on Monday we look for a target of at least 74.87, which would put us close to the potential entry that we could get into it, the first one down here, which is that green line. But if not, and the market's going to rebound after the 2-day sell-off because it's gone down from its high down to the lows, almost $4.50, then the target we'd be looking for up there, if we do get a big move Monday to the upside, would be at least 78.95 for crude oil. So those are the markets for the week. Let me check one last thing right here, because I was looking at to see what, so I'm still looking for 65.50 to be the target for because it is in a short trade right now, and look for the target to be 65.50 eventually for oil to come down and hit there. So it'll be interesting to see with the US us over here saying that we're going to release more strategic petroleum reserves to help get ahead of the summer driving season, vacation season, to see if that pushes the price down even more. Even the Russia last week said that they were going to cut production by 500,000 barrels. So we'll see what geopolitical factors will get us closer to that 65 level, since it has about $11 to go from it. So anyways, that's the weekend. Have a good one. Thanks. Bye.